there, hi there, ho there, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Before you guys ask or say anything, I know it's been some time since I've uploaded my last video. Sorry.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But it's been a pretty crazy summer, or just a year in general. Not just for me, but for all of us. I plan on having topics and videos relating to what I've been going through, and some updates. But regardless of all that, it's great to be back, and this video is a little different than what I normally cover. So, I came across a video by SpoOksi with the name, "I Hate Blackwashing, Not Clickbait, Art Rant." Upon seeing the video, I was a little scared because I thought it was something that had more harmful intent. But, you know what they say, never judge a book by its cover. So, out of curiosity, I watched it, and to my surprise, she was a person of color, which made me even more intrigued with some of the points she gave. Overall, I agreed with some of her points. There are some points that I have some various opinions on as a person of color myself, and also some points that I feel both her and people needed a little more context to. With that being said, let's get into the video.
Oh, you read that title right. I said what I said, and I believe what I said. I know this is an unpopular opinion, so I want to preface it by saying I'm black. Therefore, my opinion reigns supreme over all other opinions pertaining to this topic. Also, because I am the baseline for opinions, all other opinions are illegal. The FBI is coming shortly.
Oh hey, I'm black too, so that means my opinion counts, right? Right?
Anyway, I should probably explain why I feel the way I do, but first I want to talk about the arguments that are for and against race bending, so my comment section isn't literally full of them. I've heard both arguments, and I disagree with both arguments. And to further prove that, I'm going to summarize the arguments that are repeated time and time again. I'm going to use the term blackwashing and whitewashing just to make it clear what I'm talking about. Argument number 1. Race bending is good because people of color, specifically black people, don't have a lot of representation in the media, and I'm here talking about animation, but the media in general, that's a fair claim. It's okay to turn non-black characters black because there aren't a lot of black characters. So it's done for representation. Whitewashing is seen as wrong, because then you're taking the 8 black characters that exist and turning them white. Not to mention, every time I've seen this done, it's either subconsciously racist or blatantly racist, so there's no argument there. Now, on the opposite side, we have people saying that it's wrong to race bend established characters because it's disrespectful to the original creators, and it's hypocritical to say one's okay and not the other. And the second point is, if you want representation, you're going to have to create your own characters and do so. If your arguments neatly fall into one of these categories, don't feel the need to repeat yourself in the comments. I know, okay?
Luckily, I fall into neither category since I just draw whatever I want with no cares in the world, but besides that, I do see these kinds of arguments and I feel for both sides. But I will get into that later.
Time for me to tear down both arguments because, surprise, you're both wrong. To me, it's my opinion. First, let me start off with the first one. The idea of taking established white characters and turning them black does what exactly? Now before you answer, representation. No, it isn't representation because the character is still white.
Does everyone say it's for representation though? I feel like this point is kind of generalizing what people of color think about their favorite characters. To have a favorite character doesn't just have to be because of their skin color. It could be for their personality, their flaws, or even the narrative that surrounds them. Not to mention that there are also comfort characters and kins people have in regards to characters they relate to on a more personal level. They, in turn, project more of themselves onto said character. This doesn't mean they are fixing the character's original race. It's more along the lines of, this character really speaks to me and I can see myself in this character's shoes. Also, just because a character may be black doesn't mean we have to like them because they are a person of color. People kept telling me when I was younger that I should like number 5 from Kids Next Door because she was black. But I liked number 3 because I related to her personality more. I get it, some people may look at it that way, but this came across as more of a generalization of what we think about when we see someone drawing their favorite character black.
I saw a Twitter post and I don't think I'm gonna find it, but essentially it said, I showed the drawing to my niece and her eyes lit up. This princess looks like me. She has hair like mine, she said. Who is she? And the tweet continued to say things like, this is why we do it, and no one questioned how that made no fucking sense at all.
Okay, I actually went out of my way to find these said tweets she was referring to here, and some of these things she mentioned were true, but there is also a bit of reaching in the way she worded it here. Here, let me read it for you. The artist of the tweet shared a screenshot from Tumblr that read, "My 4-year-old.
Look, Mommy! That looks like me as a princess. They both have curly hair like me and look like princesses like me. What's her name?"
Me.
"That's Daisy and that's Peach."
4-year-old.
"My name is Daisy now because I look like her. That looks like me. Can I hang this on my wall in my room?"
Thank you, Akiana My Art, for letting a little girl see herself as a princess. The tweet after that didn't say, "This is why we do it for representation." She said, on a happier note, followed by, "I love to cry." Maybe other people said it in the comments, but the artist herself did not say that. Also, you make it seem kind of like she drew this for the representation and the representation alone, when all she did was just draw it because she wanted to. I think the post she was referencing was of the artist answering a question about drawing the princesses as black instead of white, and the double standard, which she explains her own opinion on. Again, she doesn't say, "This is why we do it for representation." She mentions how it is usually from a place of just wanting to see themselves as a type of character they really like. I will link her Twitter in the description as well as all the links to the screenshots. Her art is really great.
First of all, the little girl had no idea who Princess Daisy was in the first place, so it wasn't the fact that she was a memorable Mario character that the kid noticed, it was the fact that she looked like her, which means that this exact thing could have been achieved using an actual black character. But no, it's just Daisy in foundation too dark and a freakish wig.
Ouch, this seems a little harsh, especially to the artist.
So when this little girl excitedly looked up Princess Daisy, I can imagine the dread she felt when she realized that the character was just another white one. So wouldn't it make more sense if they actually drew a black princess that was black to begin with? Right? So when this little girl actually looked up the princess, she actually saw someone that looked like her to attach herself to?
Again, you kind of make it seem like the artist here did this with the intent of Peach and Daisy are black, now deal with it, when all she did was put 2 emojis and a harmless interpretation of something she herself enjoyed. Not to mention, this artist has like over 330k followers, if I'm not mistaken, on Twitter. So she has the big platform. Do you think she planned for that thing to happen with the girl? Sure. We have Princess Tiana. I mean, okay. Not every black girl looks like her or has the hair type because, you know, we all have different hair types. There's different shades of black. Princess Tiana looks like her hair is permed or straightened, low-key. The fact that the little girl related to the way the picture looked of Princess Daisy and Peach implies that she also has kinky and coily hair. She may already know who Princess Tiana is, but does that mean she can't have multiple favorites? Also, take into consideration that AUs are a thing. Something doesn't have to be canon for said person and or child to enjoy the content. Just look at the Undertale fandom and all their AUs. They're very well known, and people still enjoy the content. I do have points about making original content, but I will save this for later.
This whole Blacktober has irritated me because, and this may sound harsh, but no one's entitled to representation. The reason why any form of representation exists is because an artist got off their ass and made it. Disney is nice for being inclusive, but they don't have to be. Most Disney princesses are white. Most of the shareholders, writers, animators, and country is, so what the hell do you expect? People are going to represent themselves and no one is better at representing you than you, so do it yourself.
This again feels more like a generalization. Blacktober isn't just about the representation. It is stated that it is meant for fun amongst the black community. I will have links to the prompt in the description if you want to take a read. Not to mention, based on all the things that have been happening in the media in regards to people of color being killed, this is more of a comfort and celebration of all of the shows we grew up with and enjoy, putting a little twist to it. You also make it seem like everyone has the ability to create someone of color on the fly, when again, just because a character is black doesn't mean the person themselves relates to them for that reason and that reason alone. I did make a storytime animation about this actually. You guys should check it out. I'll link it in the description.
And since it has become kind of a trend to draw Nintendo characters as black, I feel the need to specifically point this out. Mario was created in 1983. Which means in its almost 40 years of existence, longer than most of our lives, the closest they come to a dark-skinned character is a Goomba. So why are we giving them all this free press? Imagine if we actually used Blacktober to draw black characters from black works. Imagine it. People would really rather draw Black Peach than, I don't know, Leah Sagamore from Princess Love Pond, Daisy from Adorned by Chi. And if you have no idea who any of these characters are, can you really say you want more representation? You're not even looking for it.
Or, hear me out. The character or show doesn't appeal to us. Because, you know, a person of color doesn't always have to favor the black character. But that's just my take on it, and that's that on that.
And to continue, we hate when a white person does it anyway. The showrunner of the series is a white. I want us to be able to tell our own stories. Well, then shut up and don't blackwash Disney princesses when they tell their own story. Stop holding non-black people to a standard you don't even hold yourselves to.
Does everyone hate it, or is it when the interpretations aren't necessarily the best form of representation? I do agree that people who are white can have an original character who is black, just like a black person can have a character who is white. But if someone who is white is talking about someone who is black and how they were raised, don't you find it just a little odd that they are writing out something they don't have the experience in? At that point, it isn't they shouldn't write it. It is just hire more people of color to aid with the writing process.
In all honesty, the act of blackwashing doesn't really bother me that much, but it's the high horse mindset that goes along with it. I made her skin brown. A true revolutionary, I know. Like, you didn't do shit. Stop patting yourself on the back for this. Make your cute icons and move on. But no, white people who produce these works did more than your little redraw. Sit down.
So people who also do edits don't spend time on the character or editing process because they themselves may not have the exact ability to draw the character the way they want. Also, I really want to know who is saying this. I, for one, am not saying this. I don't treat it as though it's the biggest thing since sliced bread, nor do the artists and the people who I follow of color are treating it like it's the biggest thing. They are just enjoying the art and drawing their interpretations of said character. People are entitled to draw whatever they want at the end of the day, as long as it isn't hurting anybody.
Okay, that was kind of harsh, but this has been heavy on my mind for a while. Too long didn't read, put some work in. I guess I should be clear that I'm not talking about all black people, just a lot that I've come across. Like, Netflix has a show called Cannon Busters. Beautiful character designs, fun plot, representation, and the creator was black. His name's LaShawn Thomas. Everything we've been asking for, but no one watched it. Or maybe they did, I don't know. But there's no season 2, so that sucks. But let's complain about Takahashi Murokini, born and raised in Chiaki Village, where the population of black people is 0. Yeah, let's expect him to represent black people, rather than supporting black creators right now. This take is really hot, for some reason. Give that just like been a stretch. All engagement is good engagement, okay? I guess my main problem is we are acting like our lack of representation is something we have no control over when we absolutely do. So how about we quit with the redraws and actually make something original that will last? I know that's a lot harder and the clicks may not come as fast, but then maybe when the little black girl, little black boy see that work and happily look it up, they don't get their first taste of racial disappointment.
Going back to my previous point, that artist did not plan for that child to see her art and relate to it. That is something that happened unintentionally. She also had the big platform and drew the characters that people were already familiar with. Fan art unfortunately does get the clicks more than the original content, because at the end of the day, people are more aware of it. Sure, making characters of our own is good, but you gotta take into account that not everyone will have the platform big enough to promote it. Sometimes people start out with fan art to build their own platform, then down the line they begin to introduce their own characters. That's just how the internet works for artwork. We can't outwit that algorithm.
Now let's tear apart the other argument, the one where it says it's offensive to the original creator to race-bin characters. Guys, I promise Horikoshi does not give a damn about redraws. I promise. He's literally on the other side of the planet. He does not care what the random Westerners do regarding his characters. I don't feel like I have to explain the racist one. Racism bad, yada yada yada, subconscious or otherwise.
I agree with this 100%.
And lastly, agree with the last point, make your own characters. The end, the rant is finally over.
I already mentioned this previously, but I guess the short version of it is people shouldn't have to make a black character for the sake of making the character. People making these art pieces for Blacktober, for the most part, have done this for fun with the characters they enjoy. But I already mentioned that previously.
Hey guys, a couple quick things I wanted to add real quick. One, it is hypocritical to say one is wrong and not the other, because you're saying that they have to respect your character's ethnicity, but you don't have to respect theirs. That is hypocritical in essence.
I will say to this point, I do agree it is hypocritical. However, with what has been going on in the times right now, people of color are really sensitive to how things are interpreted in regards to their race. I feel like if we didn't have the violence and everything going on, this wouldn't be such an issue. But because of this, and all of the malicious fixing that's been going on, it is rubbing the people of color more the wrong way. You gotta read the room to get the vibe. Does this mean every black person is saying this? No, I'm not saying it. And hell, I even asked my mom and she agreed that it should be both ways. But with all that is happening, you gotta use discernment.
And secondly, the problem that I have, I want to mention that there are a lot of black creators out there who do the work. I don't want to make it sound like all black people aren't doing anything. I'm really just fussing about Twitter right now. Like, Twitter is what I'm fussing about. There's plenty of people in the industry right now doing the best they can. I listed just a few in the video. I'll have more at the end, but I wanted to make that clear. There are a lot of black people in the industry doing their thing.
These are awesome. I agree, we should promote these people and their works. And that's the end of her video. My final thoughts on this? Although there were some good points, I think there was a huge generalization in terms of people of color on Twitter. She made it feel as though we have to like a character who is black, when it shouldn't be that way. It boils back down to my point that people like the characters for their personality traits and stories. And by them wanting to do a friendly portrayal of this said character in a different race isn't really hurting anybody. Some people may not want to make an original character just because they are black. There is more to it. A lot of my original characters are either toons or animals. At the end of the day, race itself isn't a personality. I hope this commentary didn't come off mean or anything. I just wanted to share my opinions on it as another person of color myself. This wasn't also meant to sway your opinions, but more so open the door for more insight to create more dialogue. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Also, you like my new stills? Layout of the channel? I changed my Sona's clothing a little bit during my break and wanted a little bit of an upgrade. The gray was kind of grody. Also, if you haven't subscribed, you totally should. No pressure though. And follow my socials, which will be linked in the description as well. I will also link SpoOksi's video in the description below. Make sure you check it out as well. It feels so good to be back after months, and I plan on making some great content and updates for you guys. With that being said, I hope you guys have a good day, evening, or night. Remember to take your medication, you naughty kids. That's more of a reminder for myself. And drink plenty of water. Thanks for watching and take care. Bye!